Hello again. It's time for another Voices of Gaia Oracle. I'm Owen Tasia Greener. And so now we are in another transit to the Gene Keys, and we're in Gene Key 3. And this happens to be another entertainer, New Earth Leader Archetype gift, the gift of innocence, the gift of seeing through the eyes of a child, the ability to be playful with life, to find ways to navigate chaos, change with curiosity. And the entertainer is here to divinely inspire you through play. It is the pinnacle or the final New Earth leadership archetype of the 8 in the sequence. They build upon one another, although you can work with any of them at any time that you feel called to. But it is the final one. It's like the finishing one. It's like how you, after you've done the work of the foundation archetypes and the other 3 mastery archetypes, you can finally show up on the stage of your life. That doesn't mean you have to be actually up on a stage, but just in your life, fully embodied in your soul essence, in your new earth leadership essence. So the entertainer is, you get to that point where you have your stability, your strength, your navigation system is online. You've learned how to come from the heart space rather than the mind. You've learned how to see through the water eye, right? Letting go of the fire eye. You've learned these things. You've learned how to heal relationships, and you've learned how to have just a whole new way of navigating life. And then you get to this entertainer part, and it's like, okay, now I can actually express myself fully here, my gifts. And what are they? Not everybody has the same script. You can come here with the same script, and maybe you've thrown out the script and don't even like to think about having a script. But you're here to express something, your channel of light, right? This whole process of the Voices of Gaia is to open up your oracular channel and for that to become a unique expression of who you are on the stage of life. And so this gift of innocence and is all about letting go of control. Letting go of control. And I have this beautiful oil here, this blend. And I'm just gonna mix it up a little bit. It's got this lovely dense oak moss in it. It's so intoxicating, but it likes to settle out, right? And just play with it. I don't know. We don't have to take ourselves so seriously all the time, right? When I intuited these blends, it was in play. It was in a playful spirit, right, of creation. And so how can you show up in your creations in your life with that curiosity and that odd nature of a child, right? Like, what am I going to make today? What am I supposed to? And so the oil that in this blend that is most supportive for this gift of innocence is um, cacao. It's the oil of divine play. So think about that chocolatey essence, right? And how rich and luxurious it is. And maybe it conjures up, memories of having chocolate treats as a child, just a very special treat. So it invites not only the idea of having treats, but the idea of experiencing that magical energy that you get when you have a treat, right? Not the sugar high, but just that rush of intoxication almost, right? Of like, this is so good. This is, so rich of an experience. And you can't have that if you're trying to control the experience. So you have to navigate through any sort of, anal control tendencies, either for yourself, right? You might have like some compulsive tendencies, like it has to be done this way or that way. And if not, then, it's not going to be right. And so then the play is gone, right? And you've lost that magical spark. You've lost that richness, that intoxication of the moment. Or, you could like just not be able to be grounded enough to actually experience life, just becoming completely pulled in every direction, completely disordered. And so life will do that to you, right? The chaos comes and we forget how to play because we're either trying to control everything or we're just out of control. And we miss that magical moment of being in the presence of your divine child inside you, who opens you up to the magical world, right? The imagination, the magical world of the child. And that's the gift of, this is one of the gifts of the 8 gifts of the entertainer, is to be able to access the magical child within you, the one that knows how to play, the one that knows how to thoroughly enjoy a bar of chocolate, maybe, or the smell of chocolate cookies baking in the oven, or maybe it's, a cup of hot cocoa or cacao or whatever it is. But just that memory of deliciousness, of surprise, and as a child. And it's from this place that we can be the most creative. And so as a child, maybe you weren't trying to solve the world's problems. Probably not, but there are some children who are born very wise already. But now as adults, we are given these missions, or we think we have these missions to do certain things, and we get very serious about it, very controlling about it, and you can't access the imaginal realms of innovation, of creation in that state. And so the practice with this particular gift is to let go of needing to control and to allow yourself to be divinely inspired by a solution, right? That's the innovation, always finding a new way through. It doesn't have to be done the same way all the time. You can experiment, right? The 3 is the number of experimentation. And it's from this place, I'm sure you've heard that saying by I'm not going to say it exactly right, but by Einstein's, you can't solve the problem from the same level of consciousness that it was created. And so play takes you out of the box, and it brings in new ideas, and it is a mutation. It brings in a mutation, right? Sometimes a mutation is the only way to access the answer, to get out of whatever the situation is, or to solve whatever problem, or um, that you might be dealing with. And so if you can invite your inner child to play when you are confronted with a problem or a task that seems so heavy. And I know that sounds like, oh, that's really irresponsible. I'm an adult. I can't play. How could I waste time playing? But think about how much time stress takes from you, how it shifts your biochemistry from this field of expansion where you're actually accessing the multidimensional realms into this tight little knot of this very limited space of creativity, knowledge, wisdom, right? When you're in the field of play, you're like actually accessing multidimensional wisdom and knowledge. And so you just become this magical child, right? And you don't have to take yourself so seriously. And yes, there are very serious problems in the world that need people to find the answers for, but when we come at it from a place of control or from overwhelm, just getting caught up in the whirlwind, or it's limiting. It's going to limit your ability to see the options in front of you. And so when you learn to let go of control and you begin to be inspired by the divine child within you, you will begin to see that you're finding a way through life that is much more balanced, because there's always a solution. If you tune in, if you relax, if you let go, if you lighten your heart, open your heart up, it'll relax the mind. The neurocircuitry will become more neuroplastic, more connected. Your third eye will open, right? And the belly, the belly will open. The center of creativity that sits in the navel, it'll open, and you'll have all that creative power to back up the inspiration. So the entertainer archetype is here today to remind you to play, to invite in your magical, divine inner child to guide you through curiosity, through the eyes of curiosity, through the eyes of innocence. When you feel most stuck or most overwhelmed, because that child knows the way. That child is before you were programmed to do certain things in certain ways. That child is a natural innovator, a natural genius, fully connected to all the realms, those of the earth, those of the cosmos, the divine. So let's just take a moment and place your hands on your sacral chakra and invite that magical childlike part of yourself to be present. Maybe there's a particular memory from childhood that just really tickles you and lights you up. And bring that into the field. And notice how it shifts the energy all around you. It mutates it. Don't be afraid of difficulty in the beginning. Find a way to relax and to play into the magic of your childlike self. And here's some light language, which is this pure heart language. Ma'elera tora shale iri hale mo e kala ate hai sho ukro nale ma ira ara nere tu shale nene me nele de ira cholo o umba e huma nene o shalala unga le mene kai du shasha ade me elene ene unka le te ara ustora moho u karatadande le te shishara ene no la mbai ko chinale ti olo unda ama ene na si koro mbarat de ustora. And some people wonder sometimes, well, what is light language? It's the language of innocence when it comes from within that original essence of yourself. It's just pure love, pure light and energy. And of course, there is language that people can shift and bring it down into the heavier dimensions. But the one that is being shared here today is truly from the heart of my magical child to you. Shalero arahmane alai urokaedo. Shale nenamahene aloda ito la meniktira. Ye ana iniku shale ende ikainda. Some people wonder about the origins of light language. And there's so many ways, people can deliberately try to speak a certain way or teach you to speak a certain way. And then there's that child part of you who knows the energy, the frequency that needs to come through. And so sometimes even speaking in light language in play can open up worlds of ideas and solutions that you never would have accessed otherwise if you had kept to whatever your primary language is. Sometimes it's really refreshing to speak in a different language. In light language, you don't have to take any classes. You don't have to learn anything to speak it when it truly comes from within the essence of yourself. So I just leave you with that today. And I hope that you will play. Enjoy the rest of this transit. And I'll be back next time. Much love to you.